Talk about a 1-2 punch. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday here on Dodgers Latest. I'm Jim Rodriguez. So happy you're hanging out with us as the community continues to grow right there. J-Rod Show on Instagram and on X. And of course, you can follow us right here on the YouTube page. You continue to grow with us. You continue to send those comments. We read every single one of them. Going to get them on the air, I promise you, this week. And of course, you can always hit those 2 thumbs up button, share, like, and continue to grow and spread the word of Dodgers Latest here on YouTube. And for the Dodgers, man, they have just been on fire. And that pitching, my goodness. Dodgers beat the Brewers last night in Milwaukee. Take both games on the road and take a 2-0 lead in the best of 7, and they're heading back home to Dodger Stadium where they could end the league championship series, not have to go to Milwaukee and pop champagne at Dodger Stadium and get ready to go to the World Series. Man, Dodgers have been playing great. 7-1 this postseason, 4-0 on the road, and man, they have silenced that Milwaukee crowd, and they've done it with pitching. And last night, I mean, just like when we thought Blake Snell, you know, we were having him up there with Sandy Koufax in Game 7 of the 65 World Series. You know, 24 batters. He faced a minimum over 8 innings. Well, Yamamoto goes up and says, hey, I'm into this too. 111 pitches, and he topped Blake Snell by actually pitching a complete game. It's his first career major league complete game for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And of course, it would come in a league championship series game. You know, it's kind of weird. The Dodgers didn't have a complete game all year as a staff, and they get one in some of the biggest moments of the year. And for Yamamoto, man, I mean, what can you say? 1 run, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts with that complete game, 111 pitches. It's the first complete game in a playoff game in the big league since 2017. Justin Verlander did it in the league championship series of 2017, and it's the first Dodger complete game in a postseason since Lima time. Remember that? Jose Lima, 2004. It was Game 3 of the National League Division Series. Dodgers were down 2-0 to the Cardinals. Talk about a highlight year for Jose Lima. You know, I was fortunate to meet him, and I was fortunate enough to be at that game. Yeah, there it is. 21 years ago. That is me with the rather loud, colorful shirt and the glasses and the goatee over to the left. And, of course, look at that Mount Rushmore of reporters, right? The late, great Pedro Gomez interviewing Jose Lima, Jaime Mota from ESPN and Fox Sports, John Ireland all the way to the right. He is currently the voice of the Los Angeles Lakers on the radio. Great producer Shari Greenberg in the back. But what a night that was. 21 years ago. That was the last complete game by a Dodger pitcher in the postseason, and it belonged to Jose Lima. And now Yoshinobu Yamamoto is joining the club. Absolutely dominant. And I guess for the Dodgers, you know, we talked about the bullpen and we talked about all the issues. We'll talk about Yamamoto coming up, especially coming up after a bad start, and absolutely mowed down the Brewers. The Brewers last night did not have an at-bat with a runner in scoring position. That's how dominant Yoshinobu Yamamoto was. He's been the ace of the Dodgers all year. We've talked about Blake Snell this postseason, and we should, with his 3-0 record and his minuscule ERA under 1. But Yamamoto, I mean, he's probably going to finish second or third in the Cy Young for what he's done. And you know what? The tweet will live in infamy, the famous tweet that said, how could you pay a guy $325 million without throwing a pitch in the major leagues? Well, this is why, my friend. Dodgers take I wouldn't say commanding, but I would say a strong 2-0 lead. The next 3 games are at Dodger Stadium if it should go to a Game 5. Dodgers can try to wrap things up. And what they've done to the Brewers is they have basically taken out of their game. You know, I mentioned that I would rather have played the Cubs than the Brewers because I thought the Cubs had a lot more holes and were a lot more sort of, not ordinary, but the prototypical of a baseball team that had some holes. The Brewers are a very scrappy bunch. They don't hit home runs. They take the extra bases, and that's what confounded the Dodgers. Remember, the Dodgers lost all 6 meetings to the Brewers during the season because the Brewers put the ball in play. They take extra bases. They make you be athletic in the infield and the outfield. And the Dodgers have shown in the infield they have been almost impeccable. They have kept the Brewers off the base paths. This is a team, Milwaukee, that led the National League in stolen bases, and they have done it by just absolutely keeping them off the bases, completely dominant, and just sucked the air out of that Milwaukee crowd. And they didn't dip into the bullpen. We knew Sasaki wasn't going to pitch last night, but they didn't have to go in there at all. And I'll tell you what, I think the Brewers, I feel like they're a little bit shell-shocked, right? It's almost like, what has happened? They almost got hit by a truck, And for the Brewers now, all of a sudden, remember, they lost games 3 and 4 of the division series to the Cubs after having a 2-0 lead. They won game 5 to advance to the LCS. But if you take the last 2, those 2 games that they lost, plus these 2 games that they've lost in the league championship series, Milwaukee's now lost 4 of their last 5 games, and they're not hitting. And the Dodgers pitching has been absolutely lights out. And look at this. If you go back to the regular season, the last 30 games, Dodgers starters, unheard of, 15-1, 1.49 ERA. They've got a 144 opponent's batting average. They've got a whip of 0.81 and 214 strikeouts. I mean, last year, it was the bullpen that allowed the Dodgers to win the World Series, right? The Dodgers would throw out a starter, pitch 3 or 4 innings, patchwork, and here would come the bullpen. Well, this year it's been quite the opposite. It's been the starters. And it goes back to, listen, all the injuries they had, with Glasnow, with Snell, with Sasaki. All these guys are now coming into the October playoff push fresh. The tread on the tires is still there. Not a lot of use. I think Blake Snell had only 11 starts all year, and they are showing the absolute dominance. They've got the book on the Brewers, and I don't know if Milwaukee can come back from this. It's been done. Teams have been down 2-0 and come back. It's happened to the Dodgers. They were up 2-0 to the Cardinals in '85 and did not win the series. Dodgers were down 2-0 to the Braves in the National League Championship Series in 2020 and came back and won the pennant. So it's not over, but for the Dodgers, they have absolutely pitched their way to this 2-0 lead and have done it with some timely hitting. And we've got to congratulate the greatest home run hitter in Dodger postseason history, and it's Max Muncy, right? Hit his 14th home run in the playoffs last night, and that passes Corey Seager and Justin Turner for the most all-time. We're talking Brooklyn and L.A., and for Max Muncy, I mean, just talk about a reclamation project. We always talked about Justin Turner was probably the classic example of the Dodgers getting somebody who people have given up on him, was on the scrap heap. Well, Max Muncy was kind of in that situation, just didn't plan out with the A's, and then comes over to the Dodgers, found a place, found a home, and he has absolutely dominated, and he has done it when the time has been the most important, and that is in October and the postseason. So congrats to Max. 14 home runs. That is now an all-time Dodger playoff record. And you know what? And for all the good work that Max Muncy's done, the Dodgers are doing this without Ohtani, without Freeman, and last night was a perfect example of what the Dodgers are all about in the postseason. The 6 through 9 hitters last night in Milwaukee. That's Teoscar Hernandez, Tommy Edman, Kike Hernandez, and Andy Pages. The 6 through 9 hitters were 7 for 14 with a home run, 3 runs batted in, and 3 runs scored. So they have extended the lineup. They turn it over, and they've done it without Ohtani. Freddie Freeman hit a home run in Game 1, but he's hitting, he's flirting around with the Mendoza line. They are just absolutely doing it as a team. And that bullpen got a nice, well-deserved day off yesterday. I think we all needed that for our heart palpitations as the Dodgers take a 2-0 series lead. And now we go to Los Angeles. That's right. Off day today. The Blue Jays and the Mariners, they resume their series in Seattle. Seattle's up 2-0. And, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but a Dodgers-Mariners World Series, that could be interesting. And it's interesting because if that would be the case, the Dodgers would have home field advantage because the Dodgers had a better record than the Mariners. Remember, the Dodgers swept Seattle at the last 3 games of the season, and that pushed the Dodgers. Those games were meaningless, by the way. Mariners were locked into number 2. Dodgers were locked into the number 3 seed. But that gave the Dodgers a better record than the Mariners. Again, we still got a long way to go on both ends, but something to think about if it's a Dodgers-Mariners World Series. And for the Dodgers, well, Game 3 is on Thursday, and check this out. It's a 3 o'clock start West Coast time. Dodgers will play basically 2 early games. They'll have a 3 o'clock game Thursday, and Friday's Game 4 would be again at 6:30, right around twilight time. Dodgers are pretty much going to look like they're going to go with Tyler Glasnow in Game 3. Ohtani will probably pitch Game 4. Nothing's official yet, but it looks like it'll be Glasnow and Ohtani. What the Brewers will do, we don't know. But that is an interesting 3 o'clock start on Thursday. It's an interesting 3 o'clock start because since it will be twilight time, do they go with the kid, Mizorowski, who can just throw those blazing fastballs and keep the Dodgers off the balance, or do they go with the veteran Jose Quintana? Interesting to keep an eye on what those starts times do and those shadows and the late afternoon, early evening starts and how that will affect the hitting. If you're a betting man, obviously it should be an unders paradise. Games 3 and 4 at Dodger Stadium. Well-deserved day off. Dodgers and Brewers both hopped on planes after the game, flew to L.A. They are going to do their workouts and meet the media today, and then resume play on Thursday for Game 3 of the League Championship Series. I mean, folks, we need to really sit back and think about what we have seen with this Dodger pitching. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, one of the great postseason starts in Dodger playoff history, followed by maybe the top 3 greatest start in Dodger playoff history with Blake Snell. And now it's Tyler Glasnow's turn. Man, doing all this without Ohtani's bat is impressive. And if he gets hot, look out. My goodness. So happy that you've been with us. Hit me up. There it is on X and on Instagram at JRodShow. Please like, subscribe, share as we continue our march as the Dodgers try to make it 5 World Series appearances in the last 10 years under Dave Roberts. Say what you want. That statue's coming at Dodger Stadium. I'm Jim Rodriguez. Enjoy the day off. And remember, it's always time for Dodger baseball.